I'm Barney Wright and I'm with a very good friend Nigel Farage, and we've just been afloat on JFK2, skippered by Alan Skinner, out of North Shields. What's the name of the port, Nigel?
It's the Royal Keys.
Royal Keys.
Yeah,
Royal Keys.
it's magnificent too, isn't it?
It's a beautiful place, a wonderful
beautiful
port.
place, and a hell of a good boat.
It is.
Massive fishing platform, and we've had a super day.
And all would seem fantastic at sea at the moment, with all the fish out there. We had cod, we had ling, we had coalfish, all kinds of bits and pieces, but all's not too well. For example, this disastrous quota system that seems to be out there, combined with the discards that was apparently dealt with, but to be quite honest, it hasn't been.
Well,
I mean, what's your take on that?
It's been going on for 30 years, and we've been throwing back in the North Sea particularly. Often more than 50% of what's caught is thrown back dead. And that's the point people have got to, get a handle on. You cannot operate a quota system in a mixed fishery like the North Sea, because whatever commercial method is being used out there, it's very difficult to say we will just catch one species without catching another. We do not actually dictate and control what fish can be caught in our seas. We've given away total control of that to Brussels. Now, I know some people watching this will say, well, he would say that, wouldn't he? But it's a simple statement of fact. It's a simple statement of fact. So I'm worried about that. The other thing I'm concerned about, particularly as we're here on the North Sea, is there is still a very big quota for sand eels. There's a big commercial, in fact it's industrial, let's use the right word, an industrial fishing fleet catching sand eels. Millions of tons over the last decade of sand eels have been taken out of the North Sea and used for?
Probably fertiliser.
Fertiliser.
It's a very important part of the food chain.
Some of it fish food. We all thought that salmon farming would be fantastic for the wild salmon, but actually for every pound that a salmon puts on a Scottish salmon farm, it's been fed 6 or 7 pounds of sand eels.
Doesn't quite work, does it?
So I'm not sure this whole thing works, but if you think about it, we've got seabird nesting colonies just slightly north of here that are failing, and the sand eel is a very important part of the food chain in the North Sea, and frankly I can't see any reason why sand eels should be fished for industrially. I really honestly can't. We've got to be careful, and if we manage our fish resources properly, they are the greatest renewable resource that we possess around in our whole island. So it's this is something that matters.
It certainly is, and talk about renewable resource. It's one thing that troubles me a little bit is the lack of the youth coming into fishing. A lot of people have tried. Fish for Kids is a good example, where they had 80 kids fishing at Eastbourne Beach and they loved every second of it. But I don't know how much it's generating kids back into our sport, because without them we're going to be in a whole load of trouble.
Boat fishing is expensive.
But certainly it is.
It is. Fuel costs, safety standards. So if it's the father taking a couple of kids, it's suddenly become a very expensive day out and beyond the range of most people. But shore fishing doesn't have to be expensive. And I look at what rods and reels cost now. When I was a kid, rods and reels were quite expensive. Now they're relatively cheap. There's so much stuff on the market that is reasonable at a very good price. If you've got some initiative, you could go and collect your own bait, couldn't you? So shore fishing doesn't have to be expensive. Kids could afford to do it. My kids, they hold up on a pedestal these celebrities. And I think that's probably what fishing needs. It probably needs
a few big names.
Some of the icons of youth, to be very public about the fact that they enjoy going fishing. I think that's what angling needs to do. Football is booming in this country. Why? Because we've got some big celebrity footballers. I'm not a fan of all of them, but we have, and so that's what kids aspire to.
Yes,
they aspire to be like these people, and so I think that's what angling needs in the modern world.
Well, no, you're doing your bit, that's for sure.
I might bring a few UKIP voters to see angling. At least I hope I will.
Well, thanks ever so much, Nigel.
Barney.
Brilliant. Brilliant day.
Thanks, and good luck with the new magazine.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.